Welcome to the Nordic Stitches podcast. My name is Lily and I'm a Norwegian knitting designer. This is a podcast about yarn, knitting, crochet, embroidery, and spinning, but also about other things that I am passionate about in life. I love our planet, and doing what I can for our environment is something that influences my crafts in a very big way, and I talk about it on a regular basis. I'm also very passionate about human and animal rights. I always have been. I love my fellow human and I embrace diversity. No matter your background, you are welcome here. In real life, I curse like a sailor, and even though I try my best not to curse in my podcast, I'm not going to edit out any cursing that may occur because I don't believe in editing yourself. Now, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you'll stay with me throughout the episode. Everything I talk about is linked and included in the show notes below the video. Grab a good something to drink, something to craft on, and let's get this podcast started. Hello, and welcome to the Nordic Stitches podcast. It's a little surreal coming back on camera saying that, but here we are. Welcome to new and returning viewers. If you're a new viewer, you might want to start here. I'm not going to go into depth about that today because I already have in this video, but I do want to and need to, I feel, start this episode by saying thank you to everyone who posted my misfortune on Instagram. I always do this. No matter how many breaks I have, or things happen, or how long it is between my episodes, I always start with cleaning my glasses. Anyway, I also want to say, whenever I'm looking down, I'm looking at my my show notes, because, I'm not being unattentive or rude or offensive. I never do that. At least not intentional, because that's just wrong. Anyway, I want to also say a huge and heartfelt thank you to people who have mentioned my misfortune in their podcasts, reaching out to people who are not on any, social media platforms. I know that some of you have come back after that, and I just really, really appreciate that. I did have Norway's largest knitting podcast on YouTube, and it just went out the window like that because someone, didn't have anything else to do that day. So, seeing you come back means a lot to me, and it just, thank you. So, I want to look down on my cheat sheet and say a huge thank you to Solveig, who has the Norwegian knitting podcast Vimsestrikk, Helen of Giddy, Sue and Mike of A Close Knit Family, Amy of Noble Caracther Crafts, Brit, who has another Norwegian knitting podcast, Brit Strikkenerd, and Ali of Little Drops of Wonderful. Thank you. I wish I could hug you and kiss you on the cheeks. It just means so much to me. And if you know of any podcaster who has mentioned this and I haven't mentioned, please let me know in a comment down below, because, well, I don't have time to watch knitting podcasts this summer. I did put my things on storage in April after the passing of my cat so that I could travel, because I've wanted to do that since I was a young girl, and it just, I could use my rent money otherwise. So I have a storage facility with my things, which isn't a lot because I gave a lot away. And I'm just, using my mom's house as a base. So that's where I'm coming to you from right now. This episode anyway. Who knows where the next one will come from. And I just, So the episodes from this point won't be regular. I will podcast when I can feel like it, have time to, and so on, because it's just not like I'm sitting down and pressing record. I'm actually editing it. I'm not editing me, I don't do that, but I do edit the episode because I'm sometimes too fart. Believe it or not. So it is edited, but me as a person, I'm not. So I think that's quite enough ramble right there. Let's jump into Knitalongs, but before I do that, I do have a video that I already published talking about the Knitalongs in full length, so if you want to see that and the prices, you might want to check out that video. You can click the eye, right click the video and open in a new tab and watch it after this podcast, just saying. It's possible. And but I will, for in case you want to know if it is something to watch, we're gonna kickstart we're gonna kickstart this returning of the podcast with 3 knit-alongs. One is for a shawl design and a sock design that we are going to raise money for charity with. This is the Clean Ocean shawl. It's knit from top down, starting here and increased down the center and the outer edges as you would a normal shawl. And it's called, like I said, Clean Ocean. It has a matching pair of socks. It's designed for any gauge and any gauge needles yarn you choose. You choose how big this lace portion and garter portion is, and you choose how big this garter edge is. If I had more of this yarn, I would have gone for an even thicker border, but I didn't because I used some of this yarn in another project that I will show you very soon. But this is Woolen Vine yarns. I bought these 2 skeins last fall, and they've just been lingering there, and they actually remind me a little bit about wildflowers and the sand color that you get in the beaches. It's got a little blue specks. I don't know if you can see that. There's a blue speck right here. Yeah, so it just reminded me a little bit of the seaside, even though pink isn't necessarily the thing you think about, the color you think about when you hear clean ocean and beach and stuff like that. But a lot of wildflowers here on the beaches and along our coastal roads are actually pink, which is why that was a reference for me. So as you can see, it has a very nice drape. This entire shawl is a lot longer than my wingspan. I knitted, I think, on 4.5 millimeter needles, maybe 4, I don't know. Just, you know, check my Ravelry page if you're interested in that. But I used 153 grams for this massive shawl. And my test knitter, Carolina from Finland, hey, she used 100 grams and got a shawlette that was 140 something centimeters, and I will link her project page too down below for simplicity reasons. I just love how this came out. It came out so much more beautiful than I imagined, and Carolina was actually before me finished. So I was knitting on it thinking, oh yeah, sure, this will work, and she just finished it and sent me a picture, and I was like, woohoo, that's nice. Tooting my own horn. This year, the fundraisings will go to For Ocean. There will probably have been a picture pop up here of the socks that are matching this pattern. The money will go to For Ocean. So we're kickstarting today with the knit-along for this pattern and the sock pattern as one knit-along. Don't go and add more hashtags, just use the hashtags that I provided you with here in that video and on the project page and on Instagram, because the hashtags are already there. Making more hashtags just, you know, messes things up a little, and yeah, it's not easy to follow. So also make sure to tag me on Instagram. I can insert a quick little thingy here to show you where to tag me, so you make sure that I see it, because if you tag me just in the picture text, when you write the text to the picture, that disappears. A lot of the time it just disappears in my feed, because that feed gets a lot of notifications. Right, so more information, like I said, about that knit-along and the 2 next ones that I'm going to talk about in the knit-along video. So one of the prices for the Clean Ocean shawl and socks, I actually need to go and grab because I don't have it here because I'm so prepared. Ta-da! The magic of editing and technology. Woohoo! One of the prices for this knit-along, I won't be drawing prices until the end of the video. No, not the end of the video. Get ready with your needles and knit. No, I'm just kidding. One of the prizes for this knit-along is a hank of yarn from my friend Amelia, who hosts the Arctic Knitting Podcast and dyes Arctic yarns. And hopefully there will have already been a vlog from my visit to her this June here. Again, right click it and open it in a new window and watch after the podcast. She very generously said yes when I said, hey, you want to donate a price? So that's just how it goes, you know, when friends talk to each other. She donated this hank of yarn. It's merino sock 57, 75, potato, tomato. It's 75, 25, superwash merino and nylon, 100 grams, 420 meters, in the colorway Mermaid, which I think is very fitting. I love this colorway. So one of you will win this. You can stay tuned on Instagram and on Ravelry in terms of prices. Most of the prices are in my storage facility because, you know, that's just life. C'est la vie or c'est la vie. Any French people watching? Is it c'est la vie or c'est la vie? Probably neither. Also having coffee from my Maria's mug. This is a thermo mug. It comes with a lid, but if you put the lid on, you won't be able to drink the coffee for 2 hours because it's just that darn good. The quality is impeccable. However, I was thirsty for coffee now. We say kaffetørst in Norwegian, which basically directly translates to coffee thirsty. Right, not relevant. You are correct. When it comes to how much of the set sale price, when you pay that price, I don't get that sum. I pay a fee to Ravelry and to PayPal for every single sale that I make. So if you pay 55 or 60 Norwegian kroners for a shawl design of mine, for example, that's not what I get. And because I want to give as much as I can to this cause, 50% of the set sale sum is going to charity, so more than 50% of the proceeds for 6 months. The second and third knit-alongs that we will be kickstarting today, and oh, by the way, the Clean Ocean shawl and socks knit-along will run out 2019, just so you know. So if you finish anything of that, make sure to enter it in the FO thread by, you know, New Year's. The other two knit-alongs is for my sock patterns, and was suggested in a comment on my Instagram by a longtime viewer and a longtime fan of my designs, Missy. And I hope that you don't mind, but I'm gonna put your information on the screen because you deserve that, because this was your idea. She suggested we should have a Nordic Stitches box of socks, and I thought that was such a fun idea that, you know, why not make a knit-along on it? It doesn't matter to me if you knit them as ankle socks or long-legged socks. Anything goes, because it's socks. But it has to be for an adult. And, what else? Yeah, all the details are in the video and on the knit-along pages. Just, you know, if you're interested, go there and check it out. The last knit-along will be the Anything Goes from the Nordic Stitches designs knit-along. So again, all of my designs, but you pick. And it's running for a year. Doesn't matter if you knit 1 project or 45. I think I have 45 designs out there. I think. Can't remember. But you know, you get the gist. The more you knit, the bigger your chances are to win something. I will not draw prizes every month because, again, I'm traveling. I don't have any real home, so it's going to be a little difficult, you know, drawing prizes. But do keep in mind that sometimes I randomly pick someone from Instagram who has used the hashtag that I provided on the actual pictures to draw pattern prizes. Just saying. Now, if you use the hashtags on pictures that are not relevant, you're not gonna win, because that's just spam. That's just not nice. Anyway, so those are the knit-alongs. Like I said, more details about that in the video that I linked here and below, and on the knit-along threads on Ravelry. So go join. Cast something on. We're starting today. And now for a little announcement that's going to seem a little weird after the announcement of the new patterns and the knit-alongs and all that jazz, but because of economy, health, and time, I am no longer going to design full-time. This simply means that instead of continuing to always making patterns. I'm not. I may make a few patterns during a year, but that's it. It's been 3 years of daily working, always publishing patterns, and sadly it has yet to pay any bills. And for me, who is disabled living in Norway, that's just not a possibility anymore. So I need to find something else to do with my time, and that just means less knitting time, I'm afraid. Plus, you know, my health is declining because chronic pain and ill and blah blah blah. This is not a podcast about that. I don't want to discuss it in the comments, but you know, that's just the reality behind everything. So yeah, I'm done designing full time. It also means that the response time to any emails that may come in will take a little bit longer. Okay, so we have one little announcement left before we continue into this podcast, and that is that today is Nordic Stitches' 3rd birthday. That means when you're seeing this, because this is actually June 21st, because that's just how my time is divided these days. I don't have a lot of it alone to do this, so yeah. More than a week before the podcast goes live, it's recorded. Cheating! It's not cheating, it's just practical. And today, July 1st, is Nordic Stitches Designs' 3rd birthday. Just saying. So we're not doing anything really to celebrate it, except, you know, for kickstarting this comeback with the 3 Knitalongs, just saying. So jump on the fun there, use the hashtags that I provided on Instagram, take a screenshot, and share on Instagram, letting people know that, you know, I've returned and you're watching. Did you take it yet? No? Do it. And share it on Instagram, your stories, or, you know, whatever, and tag me. If you tag me on your stories, just click GIF and mention, and put in Nordic Stitches Designs. Or if you tag me in a post, you know, do as I show you here. And thank you. I will always repost and write to you and say thank you and all that, because, you know, that's what social media is all about. It is about connecting on other platforms. And, you know, drop a comment down below here as well, because, you know, talking to you after this is what makes it funny, because if not, it's just a monologue. So for knitting, it's very warm in here today, so I'm just going to hold it up. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, because that's the one place that I really share everything relevant, I posted about my So Faded pullover by Andrea Murray, and I used I think 3 garters for the neckline, and I have a little tag on here from Barbara from Knitting I Love. It's a heart on one side and the year I knit it on the other, which is just brilliant. I love her tags and accessories. So like I said, it's the So Faded pullover from Andrea Murray. I loved knitting it. It was super simple, but it was a lot snugger than I had anticipated, so it's not really, you know, it's like a condom right now. It just sucks everything in there. But I'm also never again ever going to use MCN for a garment on top, because it pills on me like no one's business. No shit. I'm taking out pills like this all the time when I'm wearing it. It's just absolutely crazy. So yeah. I've also knit, so I knit this after I came up to my mom's late April. I've also knit the biggest swatch ever. It's not here, because in the name biggest swatch means kofta, stranded knitted cardigan. I'm gonna pop a picture up here. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know this, because I messed up my swatch big time. I've been a daily, very avid knitter for more than 15 years. I've known how to knit for more than 20 years, and for the first time in my life, I didn't wash my swatch. which is kind of silly, because that's where you measure your gauge when it's done. So I ended up with a swatch instead of something I could wear, and I gifted it to Amelia of the Art Knitting Podcast and Arctic Yarns as a birthday present, because her birthday was in June when I was visiting her. So yeah, we have a saying in Norway, it's not so bad it's not good for something. I don't believe that in any case, but in this case, at least someone gotta wear it. I can wear it, I can, knit again. I knit the whole thing on 2.5 millimeters, and it took me, well, in actual knitting time, the days that I did knit on it, it took me less than 3 weeks, so I can do it again, it's not a problem. And for anyone going, whoa, I didn't wake up knowing how to do color work, everything needs to be learned. So if you're one of those who says, I wish I could do color work, or I wish I could do that, and I wish I had the patience to do that, you do. You just have to learn it and do it. It can be done. It's not set in stone, you can't. So I really encourage you to try, because yeah, it turns out quite beautiful. Just saying. I really wish I had that kofta. For knitting, that was it for this podcast. I have embroidered something as well. Since it's been a while, I'm not going to show you everything that I've been working on or cast on or spinning on and all that jazz, just because that would take forever. So I'm going to show you something that I finished, and it is an embroidery. I posted this on Instagram when it was finished, and on Instagram you can find the tag for the designer, Tamar, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love French knots, and it's very fitting. Ocean, clean ocean. This is called Ocean Princess, and I'm still a beginner when it comes to embroidery, but I find this her designs very easy to follow. It's printed on the fabric, and she sends with you a pamphlet of how to do the stitches. And if you're not one of those who learns by reading, you can always find tutorials on anything you want to know, in crafts or not crafts. You can learn to build a house on YouTube because there's videos on everything. But if you want to learn how to embroider, you can. You just need to watch some YouTube videos, or just buy a kit like this and just go for it. Like I said, everything needs to be learned. So I love her designs. They are super easy to follow. They come with a hoop if you want to. I always buy them with a hoop. Did I say hoop again? Oh my god, what's wrong with me today? I always buy them with a hoop because I think that's kind of adorable. So, and I just tied one of the ribbons that was in the kit, just because, I don't know, really. I did. Okay, so that was embroidery. Like I said, I'm still a beginner, but I'm really, enjoying the process. So let's jump into crochet. Like if you've been with me for a while, you know that I have several projects going that are blankets. And I wasn't supposed to start this until I was done with at least one of those blankets. So I have 2 knitted blankets, and I will show them to you later, just because I already have. If you want to, you can go back and check my re-uploaded videos, just because I had to start all over. So I re-uploaded the episodes and the podcasts that I did have, and the vlogs that I did have, and in some of the most recent episodes in the Podcast Before Hacked playlist, link down below, you can actually see those blankets if you're interested. But I wasn't supposed to start this until I was done with at least one of those knitted squares blankets. But things happen and you start it anyway. So I started the granny stripe blanket just because I've always wanted one since I saw them, pop up here and there. And I'm using a 3mm hook and scraps of fingering weight yarn with sparkle, without sparkle, no dark color. So if I come to a place in a cake that has a dark color, I take it out. I left this one in just because for fun. Here's a fine little rainbow, a little pride stripe. Yeah, so this is what it's looking like right now. So I started that just you know, thought that was worth mentioning since I think I've actually said it too, that I wasn't going to start this until I was done, so the joke's on me. I have several of these cakes that I've worked on for a few years that I am now digging into. As for drop spinning, because I have a wheel that I've inherited that I will actually try to find out the year it was produced later this summer or early fall. Stay tuned for that. But I think it's my great-great-grand's or great-grand's wheel. Anyway, it's operable, but it needs to be cleaned and it's in my storage facility. So, I'm drop spinning. Excuse me. The record is 11 without breathing. I don't sneeze like a normal person. Oh my goodness. Okay. One of the prizes for one of the Knitalongs that I've already touched upon will be this hand spun that I've spun up. And this is both has sparkle. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Both has sparkle. This darker green is from Spin City UK, and this is from B something. I don't think they sell fibers anymore, but I will nevertheless include their names on the screen. I think if you use a 4.5 or 5mm needles just for a normal stockinette shawl with a gartered edge, you will get a fairly big shawl out of this. So this will be one of the prizes for one of my Knitalongs. Got something on and join the Knitalongs. I've also spun, and I'm just gonna take it out of the freaking plastic. I'm going to ask you what you think here. I bought some fiber from Bellevue Fibers, and I should just message her, ask, but you know, I need to remember to do that. So, Bellevue Fibers sent me some fiber where it said Goldilocks curls, camel, silk. Would you think that this means that this is the color and that's the fiber, or would you say it's a mix of camel and silk and this was the color name? I think it's camel and silk and that this is the colorway name. That's what I think. My nail polish should really just whatever. And this is what I spun. It's a 3-ply Navajo ply. So that was a little sample that you just included in my my custom order. And my custom order lives in this bag. And I'm currently spinning some of the pink. It's turning up a lot more pink on camera than it actually is, I think. Focus on me, please. I think this is more accurate. So I finished the darkest one. It's the fade. I finished the darker one. Again, 3-ply Navajo. This is color 5. The color that I'm spinning here is color number 4. And in here is color number 3. And in here is color number 2. And in here is number 1, plain white. It is merino, cashmere, and tussa silk, and there's 2 sets of 130 grams. And the reason that I grabbed 2 sets is because that I want to use this as a gradient in a 2-color brioche shawl. Yes. I'm actually knitting on a 2-color brioche shawl. I'm just gonna see yeah, I have it here to show you in just a second. I should have included that in knitting, but because I'm spinning up the yarn to finish it, I'm just gonna include it here. The last spinning project I have going is plain white merino on a drop spindle from Spin City, UK. I love her stuff. I keep going back to buy more. This is what I have left of color 1 for the shawl that I'm talking about. It's called Antique Rose, and I spun it last summer from fiber, merino and silk. Don't remember the silk, but it is merino and silk, non-superwash, amazing. So is, by the way, the 2 sets of fiber that I'm spinning up that I just show you. Those are also non-superwash. They warm you a lot more then. And together, the white and the Antique Rose colorway will be a shawl. This is my first ever 2-color brioche shawl, and I'm knitting this up in the squishy pattern by Mina Philip of the Knitting Expat Designs and Podcast. It's getting quite large. I'm very excited to get this finished. Hopefully by July 1st, when you see this. Hopefully. Nothing set in stone. So yeah, oh my goodness, this is squishy. I regret very much the choice of 3mm needles. I'm also very done with circular needles because they snag everything and it's just making me a little crazy. But I do love the Knit Pro Cubics rose wooden, so I might just start buying those instead. I love it on the wrong side. There's no wrong side in brioche, but I think this is my favorite side because I went for white as the main color, so this is actually the right side according to the pattern, but I think I prefer this one. Doesn't matter, because a 2-color shawl brioche shawl can be used depending on your mood that day. It's amazing. I didn't think that I was going to love brioche, and then I cast that shawl pattern on. It's great, super friendly for beginners, which I am. And then when I was in Amelia's home, she asked, should we dye some yarn? I said sure. I said I think I want something like that, and I went down into her basement with her, and she told me about the temperature, the boiling points, and the citric acid and all that jazz. But when it came to color, free hands. Do whatever you want to. So I did. The first color I went for is a color that I am very happy with because it came out exactly like I wanted to. So beginner's luck. So this is the first 3 hanks. We dyed 6 each. And this is my first ever acid dye yarn, and it is beautiful. It is a superwash, merino, and nylon blend. But yeah, it works for me. It is very beautiful. And again, flower residue, because it's been on the ground for pictures for Instagram, because, you know, that's just how we roll. So this is color 1, and this was supposed to be color number 2, but it ended up almost black. It may even look black on here, but it is very, very dark brown. Yeah, you can see it's dark brown. Also, it has some specks that just didn't take color. Can you tell? So, attempt number 2. Then, attempt number 3 turned out just the way attempt number 2 was supposed to. So, as you can tell, yeah, I just went all in there with the round for this one. But I was very careful when I dyed up this one. Just gonna remove the hair. Very lovely shade of brown. The last attempt number 1, 2, 3, 4, is this hank of yarn which uses greens and some blues and some reds and some browns, which was a speckled yarn, which was easier than I thought actually. And this is what that looks like. Because this is speckled, I'm going to open it and just show you. Yeah, that was fun. That was very fun. And some of the brown blended with the reds and gave purples some places. Like here, some purple shades. I don't know if that shows up very good on camera, but yeah, this is my speckled yarn. I speckled. Yay me! I want to include a new segment to the podcast, and it's inspired by a few other podcasts who've done this. I'm going to call it Memory Lane. Walking down memory lane, where I'm basically just gonna bring out something crafty that I've done in the past and show you. Now, many of you only think of me and in terms of knitting, but you know, there's more to every person on this planet. I, for example, studied I studied a little bit of law. I went 1 year to craft art preschool, and learned about color and composition and all that. And I was a flower decorator's apprentice after a year in school. Yeah, there's just... So knitting isn't the only craft. Knitting and spinning and crocheting and embroidery isn't the only crafts I've dabbled into. I love painting, different styles of painting. I love arranging flowers. Yeah, you get the drift. And that's just the crafty side of me. There's a lot more. I'm very, as the intro would have told you, very passionate about human rights and animal rights. I've always been. I've grown up that way. But I digress. I did make something for my mom. In Norway, we have something called rosemaling, which basically just means rose painting. And I can include some pictures here and links below if you want to read more about this specific tradition in Norway, which dates far, far back. And I tried it in this preschool year, well, pre-art prep year, whatever you want to call it. It was a year where I just basically learned a whole lot about painting and art and all that jazz and different kinds of crafts. And I dabbled into rosemaling, and I remember the first time I tried it, was with oil painting, and the teacher came up to me and said, "Are you sure this is the first time you're trying this?" And I said, "Yeah." I still have them somewhere, but I have no idea where. So I'm going to show you my third and last, I haven't done it since, ever rosemalt rose painted thing. This is not in oil painting because I didn't have that at hand, so this is actually acrylic paint and with a coat of luck. What the hell is luck in English? Read the screen because I have no idea. This is a wine carton holder. It didn't used to look this dark, it was a lot lighter in color. And it has some rose painted, you know, details on the side. This one and this one, they are the same. And on the top, it looks like this. And you know, from a professional point of view, this isn't very pretty, but you know, it was my third attempt. And using acrylic paint, it was not easy. So this says LEO, my initials, in 2009. So it's 10 years ago. It's actually 10 years ago since I did it. That's kind of epic. And this is the front. So Randi, or Randy, you know, if you're American, that's my mom's name. And it is the front, and this is where you put the carton in, and you just put this back on. It has a magnet here holding it in place, and it is basically a holder for her cartons for wine with her name on it that I made her in secret while actually I was visiting her in 2009. I did this when she was at work. during the days. So yeah, this is memory lane for this time. Let me know if you are in Norway or any parts in this world that do this or know about this. I'd love to know that. So that was the first memory lane. I have something that is way older, but we're just gonna have to wait for the next episode for that. And now to wrap up this podcast, we have a question from a viewer. So if you want to ask me a question for the podcast, within reason, for personal life and travel and all that jazz, crafts and stuff, you can send it to nordicstitches.contact at gmail.com. That's a mouthful. I'm putting it here, it's down below, and it's on my profile on Instagram, which you can just click and send me an email with your question or pattern support, because that's the way to get pattern support, not via DMs on social media. The question for the podcast is from Leah, and she asks, have you done Nordbinding? Putting it on the screen here because I have no idea how you say that in other places of the world. I have truly been enjoying your travel videos, as well as the Wednesdays weird Norwegian expressions and fun fact Fridays. Thank you. And she's referring to the Lily E YouTube channel. Now, I'm gonna talk about that before I log off, but no, I have not tried Nordbinding. I don't think I ever will, because for some reason it doesn't fascinate me. Besides for the history, it's something we did with one stick, knitting with one stick for a very, very long period of time back in the day. I think Vikings did this, because in a Vikings museum up north here in this area, they actually have pieces of this hanging as examples. So I may or may not go there to visit this summer, so you may or may not want to stay tuned for vlogs from that area. When she says she's enjoyed my travel videos. Now, this is not something, if you're not interested in travel or Norway, it's not going to be a travel channel forever, because I got other things I want to do, but for this summer and this fall it will be. It's not a channel for you to come over and keep talking about crafts, because it's not about crafts. So if you're interested in travel and Norway, our customs, our expressions, and beautiful scenery, this is the place for you. Like I said, I'm not going to continue a knitting conversation there, because that's not what that channel is about. You can also follow the Lily E Instagram account, and again, same as for the YouTube channel, it's not a place to keep talking about crafts. But, if you're interested in more than that, and especially in Norway and our nature, that may be something that you are interested in. Thank you so much for watching. Episodes won't be regular. They will be uploaded when I have time to record, time to edit, and the opportunity to do so. Thank you for being here. It means a lot, especially after the drama we had in April. Whoever you are, wherever you are, be kind, be good, spread love and acceptance, and embrace diversity. Embrace your fellow human and love your fellow human. Be crafty, and follow me on Instagram. I will always be with you in the comment sections to my posts, because I love social media. I don't post and not respond to you. The same goes for comments below this video. Leave a thumbs up. Click subscribe, the bell next to it, so that you will be notified when I upload a new video. Leave a comment, I will get back to you, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you whenever I have time to get back. Or on the Lily E channel. Bye! Doo-doo. This is the nordicstitchescontact at gmail.com, nordic.stitches.contact.